So now we would move to the understanding of the fundamentals of sound. Sounds create clarity or the absence of it. If I had to study sounds and break it down further, sure, there are sentences break into words into alphabets, and from there, the classification of the vowels and the consonants. Vowels, as you know, are A, E, I, O, U in the English language, and the rest of it in the 26 are your consonants. The bigger problem is usually with the consonants. Consonants were not really taught with phonetics, which is why a lot of us have a little bit of difficulty because we have mixed and matched with Devanagari script and the sounds for Devanagari script. Like, for instance, we say kamal ka phool and kyun, but there is a khargosh, which is a k, and it was never told to us that in the English language there is no k, there is only a k. So it's a computer and it is communication and it is college. K, the second K, not the first K. I'll take you through the depths of this. I'm not going to jump through it, but I want you to understand that all these consonants, they're actually created in different parts of your body, as in not your body, but this portion of your mouth up to about here. So let me take you through just a few. It's like a demo. I'm not going to go through the details of it because it's very complex. The physiology of these sound creations, the place of its origin. This is the labial. The lips are the labials, as you know. So these are bilabials, and because there are two, and sounds that you create by pursing and the usage of these two become bilabial sounds like m and p. M and P are possibly the easiest sounds for all of us to create. So there is nobody here who would make a difference in the sound creation of a M and a P. The only person who might have a problem with the creation of this sound is somebody with a cleft palate, which is a torn upper lip, which is usually a congenital defect. Most others have no problem in the creation of the sound. Now, I also want you to ponder a little deeper. A little baby usually gets comfortable to create this sound the first, apart from g. G is the guttural sound, the most deep sound, and it's clear. It does not have the interception of the tongue or the teeth or the lips or anything. The g is what every baby in the world creates in an attempt to start speaking and communicating with parents and siblings around them. When the child, the little baby, matures a little further, he or she discovers that the pursing of the lips can actually create a new sound. And it's amazing that the child's brain has recognized this as one of the sounds that these adults make. Ma, the easiest. Now, there is a debate, of course, whether the mother got conditioned to respond to a baby with the creation of the first ma and the ma, and the mother is, gloating, hey, my baby called out to me and I'm mama. But if you went studying this a little further, it'll be interesting that almost all mothers in the world, have a ma word attached to the word mother. It's ma, it's ma, it's mama, it's mom, it's amma. Another one. In the south of India, amma is another one. But because the consonant is very easy to produce, amma becomes like the reference point for mother, and you can train your baby who's anyway saying ma to add a before the ma, and amma becomes the reference. Papa is the next one. Again, the repetition of the bilabials, and pa together becomes papa, pa, so on and so forth. So it is a slightly odd one when you look at IE, which is a Marathi word for mother, because it's a combination of two vowels and it's slightly more complex. So a little baby might take longer to say IE than the baby would say mama or ma and so on. So historically, in your own life, a life that you don't remember, the first sounds that you actually created were bilabial sounds. once you've mastered or kind of got comfortable with this side of your mouth and created these sounds, a child might try dental sounds. Dental sounds means that somewhere the teeth have come together or they've actually got clenched to create that sound. So you have sounds like s and z, s and z, not necessarily clenching, but s and z. This is a sound that sometimes gets confusing because people tend to alternate the S and the Z. Like in the south of India, there's a major confusion. So you find South Indians saying listening instead of listening, sizzling instead of sizzling. This is because the correct usage of that sound is not clarified down south. F and B. These are two sounds that are labiodental. That means you use your lower lip and you use your teeth to create the two sounds. So fan and van. But in India you find a confusion between the usage of f and v as well. Like lots of people say love. They don't say love, they say love. You find people who have a confusion with b and w. W is actually just a labial sound. W. You only used your mouth to create it. So m, p, w. These are the three labial sounds. But people tend to sometimes prefer the labiodental, and which is why they end up saying things like water. Water is a bite of the lower lip. It's the wrong pronunciation. Let's have some wine tonight. You can't have a vine. Vine is what actually climbs up on trees like a creeper. The confusion between v and w can be clarified by you actually making a list of all the W words that you know, and then pronouncing that as water, wafer, wind, weather, so on and so forth. Same way, you make a list of all the V words, and it will go like vim, vigor, Vikings, etc. Now in the placement, you'd go a little further back, and you would have sounds which actually come and hit the back of your teeth right on top. That's the palate. So you have a t, d, t, d. Major issues for Indians because the t that we understand is often a t, tomato ka t, which is why it ends up becoming time, trendy, today, and so on, which is again wrong because it's supposed to be time, trendy, and today. You take your lip, your tongue up to the back of your frontal teeth, the incisors, right there. T is a drop. It's just a drop, but it's also aspirated. That means you're throwing air out. T. You got to feel the air come out. That's when you're doing a t, right? But a t is a rolled up t, which actually comes from Hindi and Marathi t. This does not exist in English, okay? The same thing goes for d. D is lift the tongue up, place it on the palate, and drop. Aspirate. D. It's not dumb, dancing, duffer, or drill. It is dumb, dancing, duffer, and drill. It's the slightest bit of change to bring in the physical placement of the tongue and the usage of air passage that completely changes the way sounds come out of you. You also have a deeper palate sound like a sh and a zh. These are slightly harder for people to create. Some just make do with sa. So that becomes a compromise sound. For some folks, it's a little difficult to create zh, which is the most common difficulty, like television, vision. They don't do that, and they stick with vision and television, and it's a complete off the ballpark kind of pronunciation, then again, my recommendation is to start making words that have sh, words that have zh, and practice this separately. You will be in a position to correct yourself by going online and checking for the correct pronunciations of these words. The next one that is interesting is velar. Velar is a little back there. K and g. G is a little stronger. K is like the blockage of your velum. K and g again is a little confusing for people, and they kind of interchange. This common swap of k and g can create lack of clarity in how your words sound to others, and of course it goes out and impacts word endings greatly, because liking is either a K and a G. I'm not very clear. Liking is liking. Liking is a K, is a soft K. So when people say that you sound very clear, what they're actually trying to say is that your consonants are clear, its placement of the words are clear, your peaks in the word is clear, your peaks in a sentence is clear, and I can hear your word endings. So when somebody really begins to compliment you on the clarity of your speech, you've got to pat yourself, because you seem to be managing and juggling quite a lot at the same time. Thank you for part one, being with me on part one.